We're good to go?
Yep.
All right. Hey, everybody, thanks for checking into another video with North Star Pro Realty. I'm Eric. We've got Tyler and Tyler here as well. We are going to go through another video. We're going to talk about statuses and contingencies when selling a home, kind of from the perspective of a buyer. And looking at it as when you're looking online, when you're on realtor.com, Zillow, homes.com, whatever they are, and you see these different statuses, you see these different contingencies that are coming up, what do they mean? Because we get these questions quite frequently. And so I'm going to get right into it.
Before you stop,
I'm not getting right into it.
Yeah, contingencies. I mean, let's explain what that is so people know how to put that into the box.
Sure. I was going to do that, but I was going to do that after. I was going to do that after we were done with statuses.
Sure. Okay.
So,
all right.
First is statuses. So statuses being, we'll kind of talk about the main few of being, you're going to have off-market homes, coming soon status, active, pending, and closed. So those are kind of the main five. You
went through those very fast.
Yeah, and we'll talk about them individually. So we got those are kind of the main five. There are other statuses, but it's the stages of a sale that a home is going to move through. And so first, off-market is pretty obvious.
Yes.
And does anyone want to expand on that? You can buy a home off-market.
Yeah, I mean, off-market just means it's not currently for sale, right? So you get into a scenario of almost everything is for sale at a certain dollar amount or under certain circumstances, right?
Or it could be for sale by owner.
Yes, that is for sure. Yeah, it's a matter of if that's the home that's right for you and it's off-market, let's have a conversation. Maybe we can make something happen, come up with a plan, and move forward from there.
Off-market meaning not on the multiple listing service.
Right.
So that is that's where all of the data comes and it gets sourced to all of the real estate sites. Then multiple listing service is, and if it's not there, we would be considering that off-market.
Yep. So then one of the biggest questions that I feel like we receive several times a year for me, what is coming soon status? What does it mean for me if I'm interested in that house?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Coming soon, you either hate it or love it. Coming from a real estate perspective here is coming soon is the status of being able to market your home without having the ability to show it to the open public. Now,
And show it mean getting into the house that's physically.
Correct. No open houses, no private showings, nothing. And there's stiff penalties if that actually happens. But a lot of times you get to see that coming soon status. And you might call your agent up, hey, I want to go see the 123 Banana Street. Well, it's coming soon. The showings can't start until February 28th. Well, can we just get there on the 23rd? No, there's hard rules on this. We have to follow them. And actually, there's stiff penalties. I think it's $1,000 for the first offense, not just for me, but for the listing agent.
So we can go see it if we have $1,000?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. And, again, it allows those people to, the consumers to start building their schedule. They get to take a look at it. They get to see all the professional photos and then actually kind of put a plan together. So on a buyer's standpoint, there's pros and cons of that because everybody else is going to do that same thing where, rewind 2 years or 3 years is, the speed was if you could get there and give a great offer, you're probably winning that deal. But now with this coming soon status where you can't actually get past the starting line until everybody gets past the starting line, it could work in your favor to your disadvantage as a buyer as well.
And I'll touch on, because we haven't really chatted about it yet, but I'll touch on the why. Why would you go coming soon? What is the reason? And I know we're in the direction of looking at this from the buyer's lens, but the reason you might see something as coming soon is the sellers do want to sell. They are ready with photos and things like that, but maybe they're timing, scheduling. They have some events at their house or something, or they need to get one more thing fixed up before people start coming through. But they want it not to get missed by a buyer that otherwise would purchase it if it was the right house for them, but missed it by a few days. So having the presentation of it, the visibility of it, but we're not just quite ready yet is about all that coming soon is good for at this point, in my opinion. I don't know if you guys have anything to touch on that, but
yeah, I kind of a quick story on that. Exactly what you said was I had a client who wanted to do coming soon because their house was ready to go. They were ready to sell, except for they had a graduation party that coming weekend, and they said, we need to get past that, then we can go. And so They went into coming soon, and then as soon as the graduation party was over, that Monday we went active on the market. So
I'll talk a little bit of strategy wise. When I take a look at it, is most of your activity is going to happen in that first week, online and in person. In the real estate market, is if you were to have photos, and a lot of times if you get professional photos, which you should be,
yes.
And if you're an agent, you're not doing it. Shame on you. But
hypothetically
speaking, yeah. But like say you get photos on a Monday, you're going to get those photos usually delivered to you on a Tuesday. I'm a proponent of then going active as coming soon with professional photography, but maybe showing starting on Friday. If all of a sudden, if this can't be done until like Thursday or Friday, you're kind of like, people have already made their schedule. The buyers are less urgent than they used to be. So it's a little bit more strategic on when you can actually, open up the starting gates. So I look at that as like building that time of building the online presence. So then, open it at one time. But if you get past that Wednesday or that Thursday, some people forget about coming soon homes by the following weekend because they were busy in that first one. So there is some strategy behind using it or not using it. And that's how I look at it, you know. So
great. Then active, the one most everybody is most familiar with when the house is active and on the market. Is there much to expand on there?
No, other than the contingencies when it's active. There's active with contingencies, and you're going to get to that. But active is it's got a for sale sign out front.
It's on the market. It's available to see. You can go and look at it, and there's might be open houses. Offers haven't been accepted yet.
Right. Besides, there's always a little bit of a, what do you call it? An exception to the rule on that. As far as active, but for the overall expansion of buyers and sellers in the market right now, active, it is open to offers from anybody and everybody and to see it.
Yep. For our 30,000-foot view today, that's
what active
it is.
means. You spoke on contingencies on there.
Yeah.
Now, you will find plenty of them active contingent on something. Now, contingent is this has to happen, or this has to happen, or this has to happen, and what hat are they wearing on which contingency, and then we're going to expand on that a little bit.
Well, how about we just do that now? We can move through it chronologically. I was going to kind of do it in sections, but if we're moving through this chronologically of what these mean, we can just say, all right, well, say that the seller accepted an offer and it's contingent on the big two that we talked about were the inspection and a sale of home contingency are the two big ones. There are some other ones, financing, some other stuff like that, but let's talk about subject to the inspection. What does that look like?
Yeah, subject to inspection is pretty self-explanatory from the 30,000-foot view, right? But basically part of an offer is, if there is an inspection contingency, is given this many days, we have the ability as the buyer, the potential buyer, to check out this home, do the research on it, and decide if something needs to be corrected, or we don't want to move forward because of things we found out, or we have some renegotiating to do of, you didn't know that your roof was leaking, because you didn't see the water in the attic. So there's a lot of variables that can happen with that. But basically, it's common to have a contingency period of, say, 5 days, 7 days, 10 days, whatever that is.
And where does that time frame come from?
That'd come from the buyer. Yeah, exactly. On the buyer side, that'd be part of the offer. You've got your time when it comes to the purchase is the purchase price of part of the offer. You have inspection period. All of the components of the offer. The inspection period is one of those things. And say I want 5 days to figure it out, or 7 days, or 10 days, and that is the amount of time that you have for the contingency period of inspection.
And primarily during an inspection period, most future showings, let's just say it happens on a Sunday night. Sellers and buyers have come to an agreement. They've signed on it. Monday comes along and the status changes. If you had a showing scheduled for Monday or through Friday, it's likely going to get canceled.
Yeah.
By the sellers. They're happy with the details that they've gotten, and that's where hey, can we go and see this? A lot of times that answer is no. Buyer and seller have already agreed on those terms, and they're just figuring out that contingency of the inspection. So very rarely does a listing agent or a seller say, well, yeah, come in, let's do this. It's just not very common.
Yeah,
Sure.
So, well, we can ask, but a lot of times I would say probably 98 times out of 100,
At
that
least.
answers no, probably higher than that.
Yeah.
But, I've seen it at least twice where the listing agent, well, just come and bring us a backup offer. I'm like, well, we don't want to be, the not asked to the dance, come on. So anyway, yeah, most of the times, no, we can't get in there and see it once it's under inspection contingency.
Yep. So say that an offer was made on a house and there were two contingencies. One of them is the inspection and the other is the sale of home contingency. Sale of home contingency, I'll kind of go through what it means, but we can talk through deeper what it looks like. But the sale of home contingency is just, we also have to sell another property before we're able to buy this.
We're being the potential buyer,
yes,
the one that the offer came in with.
Yep. So we being the buyers, we are selling a house and we need those funds in order to purchase this home. So it's contingent. What does that look like? If you're a buyer and you hear that that's a contingency, what are we looking at there?
Well, do you want the actual answer or what?
Tell me what you want to.
Sure.
Careful.
I will see that when most buyers see a contingency, they're gone.
Yep.
They quickly discard it and they don't really take a close look at it.
They believe they just missed it. It's done. It's over with. Yeah.
Correct. Because they're not educated on the different types of contingencies. They don't ask that secondary question. Well, how long is that contingency?
And I'll say, in addition to not educated in it, a lot of these websites that we talked about, they don't really decipher what's what. Why, I'm not sure, but they don't give those inner details as to why it's contingent. So you can be as educated as you want, but when the information you're getting is limited or omitted, honestly, in a lot of cases, then it doesn't matter what you know in relation to that. I didn't mean to cut you off, but there's more to it than just that.
Right.
On that note, I did go and check as we were kind of preparing for this of what does it show on Zillow, Realtor.com, Homes.com, those sites.
Yeah.
And for inspection, it says contingent. For sale of home contingency, it says contingent. If it's contingent,
no
on
differentiation between those.
Right. It doesn't do anything. No matter what, it says contingent.
Yeah.
So there's no differentiation at all.
There's not like an extra drop-down box of.
Not from what I saw.
So, and the reason it's.
But I don't spend a lot of time on Zillow. So.
The reason maybe we're asking this is because we have the multiple listing service that we pull from.
Yep.
Yeah.
We're not searching for homes on Zillow or Realtor.com or anything like that. We're looking at the true source of it. So encouraging, always asking the question, if it even scratched your interest level a little bit, ask the question because we can actually get the true status update on that. But a lot of times, for prime example right there is, if they've seen that, they've been conditioned, while it's inspection, we can't see it. So, and sometimes it is the sale of a home. Yes, you can see those. And if we're going to...
Oftentimes, not always, but oftentimes.
Right. If we're going to break that down, if it's contingent on the sale of a home, there's usually a time frame, that period of, home A wants to sell to buyer B, but they need to sell to buyer C for home B's home. I wish we had graphics, but our budget's not that big.
Whiteboards are expensive.
Exactly. So if buyer D wants to come along, buyer A says, hey, I want to sell to buyer D. And buyer B now has to perform on, within, a lot of times it's 3 business days. That's what we see get negotiated a lot. Sometimes it's 2. The longest one I saw was absolutely shameful on the listing agent to accept it because they didn't understand business days. It was like 60, not 60 total days of calendars of actually getting under contract. It's actually performing once it's been called. Anyway, that's here nor there. That's real estate podcast on a separate day. Anyway, so even if you love that property and give them an offer that a seller wants to move forward with, that first buyer has their foot in the door, they could still technically perform on their contract, leaving you out in the dust.
Yep.
Sometimes they can, sometimes they can't. And again, I think some people just, they take a look at it. What type of disappointment do we want? Do we want to fall in love and know we can't have it, or do we just not even want to fall in love in the first place with the home?
Yep.
And with that too, of the contingent on the sale of another property, there's kind of a why in the road there. Even with one is buyer B, to your point, they already have someone lined up to purchase their home. It's just got to get through closing.
Mm-hmm.
And then at the other Y in the road, which gets a little bit more dangerous, is it's listed for sale and hasn't found a buyer for it yet. And those are generally the ones that are a lot more likely where when it's sale, the sale is contingent on that. Those are the ones that are more likely where a different buyer can come in and purchase it in a more favorable ratio, I guess, as opposed to the ones where it's like buyer C already has buyer C line, or buyer B already has buyer C lined up. Now it's just a matter of days to get to that and have it actually go as planned, as opposed to the other side of it of we still need to get a plan in place. So that there's more to it even than just that at the surface as well. So
those can get pretty complicated once there gets to be a train of transactions behind it. So, so say that, again, we're following this transaction through. Once the sale of home contingency is done with and all the homes are moving on into pending status, what is pending status?
Pending is basically all the contingencies have been cleared. Basically, under the certain circumstances that everybody agreed to things happening, all of those things have happened and then are basically cleared up. Now it's just a hurry up and wait in those cases, right? Pending is there's no contingency. It's not if this, then that type of situation. The only if is if it closes and then it's closed, right? So that's the pending part of it, just waiting.
So nothing can happen during the pending?
Anything can happen.
Knock on a piece of wood, Eric. Come on.
Just wanted to check. I'm trying to understand.
Yes. So, again, to Tyler's point, exactly. All of the details of the negotiation have taken place. Now, some background scenes are happening of financing, for example. I had one agent, they would never change it until the day of closing because it was subject to financing. And, well, that's the face I made, too, with a little more anger on that.
As a technicality, but that's not the intent of the program or the visibility. Yeah.
So all of the contingencies have been cleared, but as long as, usually what I tell people, and I don't want to jinx anything, as long as people stay employed and alive, we're headed to closing. Those are those things. But behind the scenes, there's going to be an appraisal and title work, and it gives all of the other cogs in the wheel a chance to end up at the same place on your closing day.
Yep. And then closing day, property's closed, the new buyer owns the house. We're essentially back to off market at that point, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yes.
Well, that's a very simplistic way to end it there.
Yeah.
Anticlimactic.
Way to sell us short here, Eric.
We're just moving. We're moving along. We moved through the whole thing.
Yeah.
And that was kind of the point of this today, because we do get asked, and it's fairly frequently, of some of the different statuses, whether it's a contingency, it's active, or whether it's pending, coming soon, whatever. It comes up every time of, can we see this house? Can we see this house? And that's the most common question that I feel like I get. And it's, let me go and check. Let's see about this. And then you kind of figure things out. So,
yeah. So, I mean, to wind that down is just ask.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
We got a little bit complicated on the contingent of a sale of a home. As you can see, I mean, we're three professionals. And again, it's about as clear as mud. And now you insert all of the homes available and all of the other agents available. Again, we want to be able to make a crystal clear picture for you. So if you ever do have that question, don't discard it just because it says contingent. Give us a call. We're happy to peel that onion back with you and get the true status of it. Because hopefully that could be your next home.
Right. Yeah. Don't ever sell yourself short and make assumptions, right? So I think our most common answer, and it's with absolute sincerity, is it depends. So ask us. Let's have the conversation. We'll figure out if it is on the sale of another property and we can see it. Or, there are some times where even an inspection contingency is like, I don't think this is going to go the way they want it. You can come check it out. Not often, but it does happen. So again, it depends. Let's have the conversation. That's what we're here to do. So let us do that for you, and we'll see where it takes us all, right?
Yep, definitely. So thanks for watching the whole video. That was a pretty long one, but we covered quite a bit. So if you want to talk to us, go to our website, www.northstarprorealty.com. You can get in touch with any one of us. You can see all the agents on the site. we'd be glad to talk with you, show you homes, whatever it is. So thanks for checking in.
Thanks, guys.